Hello friends, welcome to Scientech Biology. Today let's see how a solar panel works. The amount of energy humans use in a year is equivalent to an hour's worth of sunlight striking the earth. Sunlight is a renewable source of energy. Natural systems such as plants harvest solar energy to power their lives. We too can harvest the sun's energy in a varieties of ways from low-tech to high. One high-tech method uses solar cells to generate electricity. When sunlight strikes certain materials, it produces small amount of electric current, a marvel called the photovoltaic effect. The current can then power electrical devices from light bulbs to electric cars. The ability of a solar cells to operate is based on a material called silicon. Silicon is the second most common element in the Earth crust. In the periodic table of elements, which illustrate recurrent trends in the chemical properties of elements, silicon resides just below carbon and shares many of carbon chemical features. If you enjoy my video, be sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to make sure you get notified when I upload a new video. The dot diagram shown here display key features of silicon in several surrounding elements from the periodic table. The dots represent the number of negatively charged electrons that each atom has in its outermost cells called valence electron. These are the ones that participates in chemical reaction. Notice that carbon and silicon each have 4 valence electrons, boron and aluminium have 3, and nitrogen and phosphorus have 5. By sharing valence electron, a silicon atom can bond with 4 other silicon atoms. In this way, the central atom essentially achieves a full outer cell of 8 electrons because a full outer cell is a more stable configuration. Atom tends to bond with other atom in ways that achieve this state. Thus, silicon atom join the group to form a large silicon crystal. Silicon crystal forms the basis of solar cells because it has somewhat loose grip on its valence electron. Silicon is considered a semiconductor. At any one time, a small number of the silicon atom in the crystal gained enough energy to eject an electron, leaving behind a positively charged hole. The electron in hole soon recombine, while newly ejected electron repeat the pattern. If a voltage is applied to the crystal, the free electron and holes migrate in opposite direction in the electric field towards oppositely charged poles. This migration represents a relatively small current flow. In contrast to silicon, a true conductor such as copper has a much looser grip on its electron, and with a voltage applied, a relatively large current can flow through a copper wire. In a solar cell, a silicon semiconductor is made so that it has a specific impurities, resulting in what is known as N-type side and a P-type side. In the P-type side, some of the silicon atoms are placed with the boron atoms. Boron has only 3 valence electrons. A 4th valence electron does not exist for boron, leaving a hole in the crystal. Therefore, 7 rather than 8 electrons are shared among boron and the surrounding silicon atoms. In rearrangement that is inherently unstable. Similarly, the N-type contain phosphorus in place of some of the silicon atom. Phosphorus have 5 valence electrons. In the crystal, a phosphorus atom has an extra unshared electron that disturbs the uniform structure of the crystal and is an inherently unstable configuration. The impurities and resulting instabilities are essential element of a solar cells. At the p-n junctions, the extra electron for phosphorus attempt to fill hole in adjacent boron atom. In this way, electrons flow from the N to the P sides. As an electron leaves a phosphorus atom, it leaves behind an unbalanced positive charge on the phosphorus atom. When the extra electron moves into a boron atom, it brings with it a negative charge. As the positive and negative charges separate from each other in an electric field or voltage develop at the junction, which is now called a depletion zone. An electric field of this sort is always present in the solar cell. Now consider that our solar cell is in a circuit with a device such as fan. When photon of light strike the crystal, the energy may be enough to knock the loosely held electron off the atom, As a result, negatively charged free electrons leave behind positively charged holes in the crystal. The free electron will attempt to fill available holes. This may occur in a few different ways. For example, electron may simply recombine with adjacent hole in the N layer. Alternatively, electrons may attempt to fill the many holes in the P layer. However, the bank of negative charge on the P side of the depletion zone prevents the negatively charged electron from passing directly through. The depletion zone is thus a one-way path for electron in the central features of a solar cell. In contrast, electron can flow through an external circuit to reach the P side. As electrons travel in one direction, the holes travel in the other. As electron moves through the circuit, they provide power to electrical devices such as the fan shown here. In this way, light energy can be converted to electricity. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.